Another day trip excursion from Cusco is the Sacred Valley of the Incas tour. It costs $45 a person and starts at 6:30 in the morning. Our first stop is the ancient town of Chinchero, where we get a demonstration of the famous Peruvian weaving, and then visit the Chinchero Archeological Site. Next are the circular terraces at Moray, which were used by the Incas for agricultural experiments. The beautiful salt flats of Maras are a photographer's delight and date back for more than 1,000 years. After lunch we visit Ollantaytambo, another ancient Inca temple and fortress, and just before sunset we get to Pisac, a UNESCO World Heritage Site with spectacular terraces. After a very foggy 40-minute drive out of Cusco, we arrive in Chinchero. Our first stop is one of the textile cooperatives to get a demonstration of the famous and ancestral-style Peruvian weaving. The ancient tradition has been passed down from generation to generation, so the spirit of the Incas survives here in Chinchero to this day.
Now I am going to give you a demonstration from washing wool to finish a blanket. You can take photos, record videos, today is free.
Our weaving guide is dressed in her traditional costume and is very funny whilst performing the process of cleaning, dyeing and spinning sheep and alpaca wool.
First of all, I'm going to make a shampoo or a natural detergent with this root called saftana or sachaparacay. This root, we get it by walking 1 or 2 hours to the mountains. We don't have it here. Also, this root prevents gray hairs. Do you have gray hair? Yes? Now I am going to fit there in my natural basket. We call suisuna in Peru. And you see, it's all natural. For example, this is sheep wool. Can you see it's very dirty because the sheep never shower. This is the first yeah? The washing process is same for adult alpaca, baby alpaca or sheep wool. If I wash more time, it's more quick. Then we pass to a spinning process. In this tool we call pushka. In this process you can make dancing, cooking, carrying baby, also kissing to a boyfriend, no problem. And if the bread breaks, there is no problem. The joins perfectly. Then we prepare wool like this. Then we pass to dyeing or coloring process. In this process we use different plants, flowers, minerals, also insects. For example, this is cacasunca. Most of the rocks we use for orange colors. But this is Pisac uchu plant or three-corner plant and hang as flower for blue colors. Coñe flower and retama flower for yellow colors. The most important here is the cochinilla. The cochinilla is an insect or a parasite. They live in the cactus. Now I am going to sacrifice for your visit. Lo voy a sacrificar, ¿ya? Ambos somos testigos de su sacrificio. ¿Pueden ver? La primera tonalidad de la cochinilla. This is the first tonality of cochinilla. Why is the most important? Because here we get more than 24 colors of red. To change and fix the colors, we use different minerals like this: colpa, volcanic stone, salt from maras, alum stone, and lemon juice. Now I am going to prepare ceviche of cochinilla. Ahora voy a preparar ceviche de cochinilla. ¿Alguien quiere probar? Ya pueden ver otro color, ¿ya? Para otra tonalidad vamos a utilizar piedra alumbre. For other tonality, alum stone. Pueden ver otro color, ¿ya? Here also we use like a lipstick, like this, así, ¿ya? Este lápiz labial, señores, dura 24 horas a prueba de 1000 besos ya comprobados. This lipstick resists 24 hours, 1000 kisses. For example, this table runner is waterproof. To finish a table runner like this, we need 20-25 days working 5-6 hours today.
We had problems to get the door open. Now it's open. Helen and I, we climbed through the front. We're off to the archaeological side. This is our group this morning.
A Cusco tourist ticket is required for entrance into the ruins, and they're open daily from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
This is part of Chinchero. So this is Chinchero and the fog is lifting. The church is unfortunately closed. It's a beautiful church. It's a nice square here though.
The Church of the Virgin of Nativity was completed in 1607 and is one of the first Catholic buildings to be built in Peru on top of an ancient Inca building. The interior is stunning, with ornate painted ceilings and an altar decorated in Baroque-style gold leaf. Chinchero is believed to be the birthplace of the rainbow and is located 28 kilometers northwest of Cusco at an altitude of 3,762 meters above sea level. It is the most typical and picturesque town in the Sacred Valley of the Incas and brings together 12 Andean indigenous communities that are still governed by the Inca organization system called Ayu. The spectacular main square certainly stands out. It's an extraordinary fusion between Inca and colonial architecture, which makes Chinchero a unique place. Frozen in time, its buildings were built on the foundations of Inca walls, and you can still see the history of the Sacred Valley in the adobe and stone walls.
Helen found a falcon in the tree here. He's eating the leaves of the... beautiful.
Good.
I think it's a kite.
Yeah, you want anyone? One more here. Yeah.
Pumawanka. How high is it?
That's not that high. It's actually just 5,000 meters above the sea level.
Right. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a rush here. We're trying to get to the other sides before everybody else. So I had to rush back up here.
As we drive between stops, we're given detailed information about the next place, and local vendors come on board to sell their goods. In this case, a liquor that is supposed to keep you very healthy.
This is Maras.
Our second stop today is at the Inca terraces of Moray, on a high plateau at 3,500 meters just west of the village of Maras. Having no written language, the purpose of this stunning place is shrouded in mystery. The name Moray comes from the Quechua word amoray, which means the harvesting of corn and also dehydrated potato. These ruins are made up of 3 groups of different circular terraces. From the highest to the lowest terrace, they descend about 150 meters. Each of them has 12 levels, and the largest has a diameter of about 182 meters, making the Moray ruins one of the most fascinating man-made sites. There are several theories of how these terraces were formed. One of them is that the Incas took advantage of the craters formed by a meteorite. Others believe it was a landing site for UFOs. More likely, the site was once an open-pit mine. After the mining was finished, the Incas could have reinforced the walls to prevent landslides and started to grow crops on the terraces. Evidence from excavations at the Moray Archeological Site suggests that the bottom 6 terraces may have been built by a culture predating the Incas, presumably the Wari culture, who thrived from the 6th to 10th centuries. What we see now, though, was created during the reign of the Inca Empire between the 12th and mid-14th centuries. Each terrace has been reinforced with stones and compacted earth that allow for water drainage. The Incas imported soil from varying regions of Peru to Moray. Even guano from coastal destinations like Paracas was brought to the Andes to fertilize the Moray terraces. So many archaeologists and anthropologists believe that the Moray ruins were once used as a means to carry out agricultural experiments. Some of the evidence that supports that is the extensive irrigation system and the temperature difference. From the highest to the lowest terrace, the temperature differs 5 degrees, and the sun hits each terrace at a different angle and intensity. So each terrace at Moray has its own microclimate, similar to what is achieved in greenhouses today. It allowed the Incas to study the effects of altitude, temperature, and sun absorption on crop growth to determine the best conditions for crops to thrive. It is believed that the vast variety of potatoes that exist today in Peru, more than 2,000, is partly a result of these experiments.
This is the one with the sand. They tried to grow the crops from the coastline here and did experiments with the crops. And when they thrived here, they brought them back down to the coast to plant them there. The Incas really had quite some knowledge, and they shared their knowledge. We should take an example of them for today's life, huh? This This is the third circle here, and it represents the sloping mountains. You can see the terraces are at an angle. So they experimented with crops here on slopes.
They're salt, and we produce the yellow salt. This kind of salt is medicinal.
Before getting to our next tour destination, the beautiful salt flats of Maras, we stop at a large store that sells different types of salt products. We get free tastings and decide to buy a bag of pink salt that was produced at the famous salt flats nearby.
If you want to get some salt from chocolate or coffee, organic coffee, or even coca leaves, you can find them. So in 10 minutes.
The Maras salt mines, or Salineras de Maras, are situated 3,200 metres above sea level on the slopes of the Cori Pijui mountain in the Sacred Valley near Maras, roughly 50 kilometres northeast of Cusco.
On the right side you can see the Sacred Valley, and now you are going to see the 4,000 flats on the right.
These are the salt flats of Maras. 4,000 of them that are owned by 480 families here in this valley. Each family works for about 10 of these pools, and each pool produces 120 kilos a month. They can only do that in the dry season, so for 6 months, and the whole thing here produces 8,000 tons in those 6 months.
Very little is known by historians about these pre-Inca salt ponds. Evidence suggests that the salt mines were built somewhere between 500 to 1100 AD by the Wari civilization. When the Inca gained control of the territory, they saw the economic opportunity in harvesting the salt of Maras and expanded the salt ponds further up the mountainside.
This is truly beautiful in its own way.
Salt was an important mineral for the Inca Empire. It was used for human consumption, livestock, food storage, and even human mummification. To this day, the production of the salt hasn't changed and remains exactly as it was 500 years ago.
This is where the spring comes out of the mountain, and all this water is being transferred into the terraces. It has lots of minerals. This is where the spring comes in and then gets distributed out into the 4,000 pools.
Though the salt ponds themselves are man-made, the water that is channeled through them comes from a subterranean natural spring, which is mixed with salt deposits from prehistoric salt lakes. The water is then distributed through channels to each pond. When they're filled, up to 5 centimetres in height, the stream is closed off. It takes 3 days for the water to evaporate, and the crystalline salt is carefully extracted with shovels and wooden rakes by the local family members, and then sifted with a strainer and stacked on one side of the pond. Once finished, the streams are opened, the ponds are filled with salt water, and the process is repeated again. This continues throughout the dry season from May to October. Once the salt piles are completely dry, it is transferred to the warehouse of the communal company Marasal. The profits from the sales are distributed among the owners according to the number of ponds they own. Each pond produces between 120 and 200 kilos of salt on average per month. Peruvian pink salt is hand-harvested from these ponds. It has a beautiful pale pink colour and is coarse and uneven in texture. It has a more mild, complex flavour than table salt, and is the perfect addition to any culinary creation such as meats, veggies and potatoes.
This is truly incredible. And we've got the most beautiful weather to take a look at that.
You know, I say so.
Here's the shed for all the salt that's produced.
The entrance fee to the Maras salt mines is 10 soles, about $3.
You can take a heart-shaped photo of yours. Now this is a very posh thing.
When we booked this tour, we were told that this lunch spot is one of the main highlights for today. The food is so much better than on any of the other tours offered from Cusco. Let's find out.
Sure, I'd pick one.
Now that looks really good. Look at it. Wow. This is all salad. Dessert is there as well. That looks really nice.
This is a delicious buffet.
We're really enjoying this. Soup was good. This is just our starter salad. There's more to come. I'm already on my second plate. These are the main dishes. Beef, pork, scallop potatoes, French fries, and Chinese rice. We even get dessert today. Yeah. And we have to climb 250 steps in a minute.
With a big plate of salad. And they went back, I didn't like the meatloaf. They're not very good at doing it.
50 or more tour buses stop here every day. It's really well organised, and after stuffing our faces, we enjoy a more relaxing sit down in the garden while waiting for the others to finish their lunch.
Obviously our door is still on strike. I tell you, this is German quality, Mercedes-Benz. It's the second time today that we can't open the door. Mind you, on these rough roads, we have sometimes problems with our sliding door, so this is Ollantaytambo. Huge terrace complex.
Ollantaytambo is another ancient Inca temple and fortress, as well as a village located at an altitude of 2,792 metres in the northwestern end of the Sacred Valley of the Incas. It lies about 75 kilometres northwest of Cusco and is home to some of the best preserved Inca ruins in Peru.
Oh, this is a killer here. Did you count them? These are big steps to go up. This is just beautiful. That was quite a climb. I just got my breath back.
This beautiful town is one of the few places in Peru where its residents continue to live in Inca buildings without any type of modification. Today, you can still find intact streets and trails built during the times of the Inca Empire. After climbing the 200 steps, we had an unparalleled view of Ollantaytambo village from the main gate, a great stone portal that leads to a wall with 10 perfectly well carved niches. From the terraces, you can see the ruins of the old storehouses built by the Incas. Our guide also points out a face carved into the rock face. The Temple of the Sun is made up of 6 colossal stone blocks of rectangular shape. For unknown reasons, this construction was never completed. Each of these stones weighs 50 tons, and they were brought from the nearby quarry. The largest monolith is over 2 meters wide and about 4 meters high. The stone quarry is located on the opposite side of the Rio Urubamba, about 6 kilometers from the fortress. The Incas moved them by rolling them on reeds of logs and pushing them with thick ropes. The archaeological site already existed before the Incas. The complex had its origin in the Aymara culture and was later conquered by a new Inca warrior called Pachacutec. He was the one who ordered strengthening the Ollantaytambo complex with new buildings and watchtowers, and the fortress became a very important agricultural, military and religious centre during the time of the Inca Empire.
And the motor was completely... We just came down the steps here.
Our last stop are the fountains at the bottom of the ruins. They serve as both an irrigation system and as a religious centre. The Patacancha River flows through and feeds the fountains in this area. The Princess Bath, or Baños de Nusta, is the most beautiful and made from granite rock.
We were up on the top there, and then now we came all the way down. Now we're going through the markets here.
The Ollantaytambo entrance is included in the tourist ticket of Cusco and not sold separately.
This is a narrow street corner here in Ollantaytambo. There's a booth here that let people know who's allowed to go. So there's no traffic light here, it's people with a pari and cigar sign. Cigar. Gracias. This is Pisac, the agricultural terraces.
Pisac is our last Inca site for today. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that sits on top of a 3,300-metre high mountain that towers over the small town of Pisac, with spectacular views of the countryside below. The word Pisac is thought to have come from the word Pisaca, which means partridge. Historians believe that the numerous agricultural terraces represent the wings of a partridge, which is a bird abundant in the area. Pisac was most likely built by the Inca Emperor Pachacuti between 1438 and 1472. The site at Pisac is separated into 7 areas of agricultural significance, which are connected by paths that travel along the ridge and through several tunnels. Pisac is possibly the largest Inca cemetery in South America. Nowadays, 1,000 Inca tombs are found on the other side of the Quitamayo River, carved into the hillside of a cliff. However, experts affirm that there were more than 10,000 tombs in Inca times. Unfortunately, most of them have been looted by treasure hunters.
This is the gate to control the people coming from the jungle.
The current Inca wall has 5 doors. The main one is called the Door of the Snakes. It was the entrance to the principal areas of the mountaintop.
Han's not paying anything. This is part of the original Inca trail here. It's a beautiful wall. These are the western-facing terraces.
The main Temple of the Sun is built on a huge, protruding spur of volcanic rock and is perfectly aligned with the dawn of the winter solstice. With its many buildings and temples, it is the centrepiece of Pisac. 20 towers are situated throughout the complex. Therefore, it's known as the Towers City. You normally need 3 to 4 hours for a complete tour of this Inca fortress. Unfortunately, we only have half an hour and can only explore some parts of the ruins. The sun is going down and the gates will be closed soon.
Helen is climbing the really steep steps up to the top.
It's been a really long but interesting day for us that gave us a completely new appreciation of the Incas, the largest empire in pre-Columbian America.
We're cleaning everything up to get our motorhome ready for storage.
In our last week in Cusco, we're busy with cleaning up Vinny 2 to get him ready for storage before moving into an apartment just a block from the Plaza de Armas for 3 nights. June is the official month of celebration in Cusco with impressive parades. Thousands of people flock the streets almost every day to watch dozens of groups performing traditional dances of the region in their colourful Andean costumes. The week ends with one of the largest celebrations in Peru, Corpus Christi, a massive parade where 15 saints and virgins are carried around the main squares of Cusco.